From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Wednesday, the 8th of June 2022. Good afternoon. Today we'll be discussing some of the biggest stories, including new food waste legislation in Spain and a speech from Matthew McConaughey about gun control. We'll also be discussing issues about the global food supply chain. But first, another update on Severodonetsk. Back in Severodonetsk, fierce street fighting continues as Russian fighters continue their advance through Donbass. After Ukraine's counterattack over the weekend, it seems as though Russia is slowly regaining the upper hand as shelling intensifies. A couple of kilometers south, in the neighbouring city of Lysychansk, the Luhansk governor talked of, quote, scorched earth tactics, describing the city as totally destroyed due to intensified artillery barrages. Meanwhile, in last night's national address, Ukrainian President Zelensky stressed the need for gas, coal and electricity for the coming winter. At this time, we will not be selling our gas and coal abroad, he said, promising that all domestic production would be directed to the internal needs of the country. The president also emphasised his desire to increase Ukraine's electricity exportation levels, not only to increase foreign exchange earnings, but also to bring down Russian levels. There have been reports today that China and Cambodia have been building a secret naval facility exclusively for the Chinese Navy. According to the Washington Post, the new facility is being built in the Gulf of Thailand at Cambodia's Ream base. This has worried Western leaders who have already seen Cambodia get closer to China. The fear is that China will use Cambodia to build more military outposts, such as the one being speculated about today. For their part, Cambodia denies the reports, calling them groundless accusations. China claimed that the transformation of the Ream naval base is only to strengthen Cambodian naval forces' capabilities to uphold maritime territorial sovereignty. The new Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, seems to be more open to believing the accusations, with him calling on Beijing to be more transparent while saying that the reports are concerning. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine. Or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. Over in Brazil, British journalist Dom Phillips disappeared alongside his indigenous guide on Monday, just days after he received a threat from a local fisherman. Amazon State Police said they have already interviewed 5 fishermen, thought to be the last to see Phillips and his guide, 4 as witnesses and 1 as a suspect. The area the two had been reporting in, the Javari Valley, bordering Peru, is home to about 3,000 indigenous people of Brazil, and is threatened by illegal miners, loggers, hunters, and gangs of coca growers, who make the raw material for cocaine. The head of the Interior Department of Amazon State Police said he couldn't rule out the gangs as the reason for the pair's disappearance. But Brazilian President Bolsonaro seemed less convinced, saying it could have been an accident, it could have been that they were executed. Anything could have happened. Yesterday, Matthew McConaughey made an impassioned speech to US lawmakers, urging them to introduce new gun control legislation in the aftermath of a school shooting in his hometown of Uvalde. McConaughey started his speech by bringing some attention to some of the victims of the shooting, going through some of their dreams and aspirations for the future. He made clear that he'd had numerous conversations in the past few weeks with parents and relatives of the victims. Throughout the speech, McConaughey appeared emotional, clearly upset about the fact that such a horror had happened in his hometown. He finished the speech with an appeal to lawmakers to introduce new gun control measures.
We start right now by voting to pass policies that can keep us from having as many Columbine, Sandy Hooks, Parklands, Las Vegas, Buffaloes, and Uvaldes from here on.
In an effort to reduce food waste, Spain is in the process of passing new legislation which will give authorities the power to fine bars, restaurants and supermarkets for throwing out food unnecessarily. Specifically, the new legislation will force bars and restaurants to offer free doggy bags to customers, and supermarkets would have to reduce the price of food before products hit their use-by date. The proposed law would also push for unwanted food to be donated to NGOs and food banks. If authorities believe that food is being wasted, then businesses could be fined up to €60,000. Currently, the law has been approved by the Spanish government. Before it can become law, though, it has to be signed off by the Spanish Parliament. That's all we have time for on YouTube today, but if you want more, including our discussion of the global food supply chain, then watch the extended daily briefing over on Nebula. Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also an extended edition of the show every single day, available to watch on Nebula or stream on your podcast app of choice. So if you want to support the channel and get a more extensive daily briefing every day, you'll want to sign up. And there's good news. Our friends at CuriosityStream, the streaming service which offers some of the best documentaries, is offering a deal whereby you can get both platforms, CuriosityStream and Nebula, for less than $15 a year. That's all the best documentaries you could want on CuriosityStream, and then more TLDR on Nebula, including the extended briefing, other full exclusive TLDR videos, and it's always ad-free. Click the link below to get both services for less than $15 a year and support the channel.